Hi there, guys. This is Christy Lewis from Dostoevsky in Space, and I'm starting a new series of wrap-ups that aren't going to be as regular, probably. Just whenever I have some books that I really want to talk about, I'm going to update them here. Maybe they don't need a whole review, like dedicated, but I want to talk about them since I'm not doing super long wrap-ups anymore. And they're going to be vlog style because I'm just going to update them whenever I have time. So here we go. The first one, and today, maybe I should tell you guys when. So today is Friday, August 15th. It is 11:57 a.m. And it's a filming day. So here we are. Let's jump into it. First, the only thing that I'm going to be talking about today is The Sister by Sung-Yoon Lee. Now, this is a book about Kim Yo-jong. I'm probably mispronouncing that. I haven't seen the name in Korean in a minute. I wrote it down here somewhere, but this is the book, and this is about Kim Jong-un's sister, who is the likely successor to Kim Jong-un. Even though Kim Jong-un is fairly young, he's not very healthy. He's had some health problems. He disappeared from public view for like several weeks at one point. And so there is speculation that his sister is going to actually take over for him at some point, which is pretty startling in a hierarchical society where women are not viewed as highly as men. It's a Confucian thing. So, but while the rest of the world, it's really interesting. He opens the book with everybody fawning all over Kim Yo-jong. I just realized I still got my glasses on. Hopefully I haven't been wearing that for all the videos I've been filming. Anyways, it opens on the Olympics that were set in South Korea. One of them, I can't remember which, probably the first one set in South Korea in the 80s. And it was only like a year after the Gwangju massacre, I feel like. Like, it was pretty startling that they had the Olympics there after that kind of anti-democracy movement. But the U.S. was friends with the president at the time. So we, I guess, felt comfortable having it all there. She went to the Olympics in South Korea, and it was like her entry onto the world stage. Like, she had been seen before in photographs and stuff, but people didn't know who she was back then. There was speculation about who she was, but nobody knew. At this point, we know. This is Kim Jong-un's sister, and that was before we really knew about her character. And so everybody, like in South Korea and in the news media, were like fawning over her and saying, they were hopeful that she would be a reformer because she was educated in Switzerland, like her brother Kim Jong-un, who people also had hopes that he might be a reformer and wasn't. Kim Jong-un did not end up doing any of the reforms that people hoped for. And so they were hoping with her, and also because she's female, I don't know, people just think women are going to be softer somehow. Even though there's actually a study, I don't remember what the study is called, but it is a study, and it showed that women can be harsher and stricter than men in certain situations when they think that they are right. They can be more strident and harsh than men. Don't quote me on that. You'd have to Google around and try and find this study. But anyways, really fascinating character study of her. Now, it's called The Sister. I think it's only like a 5-hour long audiobook. Like, it's a pretty short audiobook. But honestly, it could have just been an essay or an article. It didn't need to be a whole book. And a lot of this book is actually about the threat of the Kim dynasty. And it's not just about her. Like, there's a lot about the other members of the Kim dynasty. So it's really about the danger and the intelligence and the hypocrisy of this family. They're very smart in a devious, terrible, evil way. They've managed to keep control much longer than any other personality cult that has ruled a country. And people misread them a lot, and people make fun of them a lot because of their haircuts or whatever, but they're actually very devious and smart. So we should take them seriously as a threat to the world. And that's like the main message I feel like that he was getting across with this. But also he talks a lot about the hypocrisy of the Kims, which was fascinating. Like he talked about all the ways that like North Koreans are punished, all the things that North Koreans are punished for in North Korea and sent to labor camps for. The Kims have had those same things in their lives. Like they Kim Il-sung's family was Christian. He played the piano in church, which should send him to a labor camp under the current rules, you know. And one of the aunts of the family, I can't remember, is it Kim Jong-un's aunt? I think it is. She was Japanese. And also, was it Kim Il-sung's wife? I don't know. There were Japanese members of the family, which is another strike, you know, that can get you sent to the low end of the status. Like they have this status ranking that's like really complicated, a really complicated caste system in North Korea. And if you belong to the lower classes, you can't rise. You can't rise from where you are, and the lower classes have no rights and no privileges, basically. And so basically, they were Christian, they were Japanese, and also that aunt and her family defected to the U.S. So if you have defectors in your family, your whole family can go to a labor camp or be executed. So the Kims are they are hypocrites in all of these ways, even while telling the people and punishing them for these things. It's just shocking how hypocritical they are. I didn't realize any of that before going into this. So I feel like I learned a lot about the Kim family, even though I've read 14 other books on North Korea, you know, and there was some repetition in here. There was a lot of things that I already knew about. But this was well worth a read. It also has some updates that are like post-COVID updates, and I haven't read any other books that are that recent. And so that was really helpful and interesting. And yeah, his message is do not underestimate her because of her being educated in Switzerland. Do not underestimate her because of her gender. That could be very dangerous, basically. The world will not be a better place when she takes over for Kim Jong-un. Or at least that's our thought, that she's going to do that. We don't know that, but that's the thought, that she's probably going to take over for Kim Jong-un. So, and there's not a ton known about her still. They're very secretive. The Kim dynasty is extremely secretive. So, yeah, I would say if you want to learn about her, this is a great place to go. There's not that much, though, yet that we know. I mean, probably like an hour and a half of this is devoted to her. Maybe a little longer. Another thing that he spends quite a lot of time doing, this author, which I really like, most of the books that I've read about North Korea were not by Koreans. They were mostly by journalists like from America or wherever, Britain, whatever. And so he actually knows Korean, and he translates her posts from the North Korean, it's like a propaganda department, and she's in charge of it. So she releases like press releases, essentially, with her thoughts on various things. A lot of times they include responses to situations in the world, on the world stage, and to leaders like Barack Obama. There's one really memorable passage in here where she really just racistly insults him, like intensively. And there's like another time where she really she insults the president of South Korea, who was a woman at the time, and like basically calls her a whore, and like all of these things. Like his translations of her posts about world events, her press releases were shocking and vulgar and disgusting. And that was really, really impactful. And I don't think the other journalists could have done that because they're working through a translator, and this guy is not. This is also one of the more pointed books that I've read about North Korea. A lot of books about North Korea are a little more circumspect. And maybe it's because they're not writing about their own country, so they want to be circumspect and come off as kind of objective. This man is not circumspect. He has an agenda and makes it clear. He wants you to know that this lady is dangerous and heinous, a terrible human being. And he gets his point across really, really well. It's very strongly worded in place. Like, not the entire book, but especially the ending is like, it's like very fiery. It's very passionate. So that was kind of a treat, actually. It really, like, whereas a lot of the book was a bit dry, I think he was trying to go for that kind of objective tone throughout a lot of the book. There were also times where it was like, whoa, he's very passionate about this, especially at the ending. So yeah, I think he did a good job balancing it. Honestly, it was like either a little, maybe not. He did a little bit too dry for a lot of the book, and then the ending was like very bald statements about his feelings. So I guess maybe that kind of unevenness of tone, you might call it balance, but it's a little uneven in that sense. And then also the fact that like 3 hours of this is not about the sister. I would say that's why it's a 4-star, but it's well worth reading. And it also might, if stuff actually happens in North Korea and more books come out about those things that happen, this book might get outdated pretty quick. But a good book for the moment to kind of talk about what's happening in North Korea. A very recent book compared to like the 14 other books that I've read about North Korea. So huge thank you to Tiffany for getting me to read this with her. This was our buddy read for K-Tropathon this year. And I don't know if I would have prioritized it as intensively as I did without her pushing me towards that. So thank you, Tiffany. And that's it for today. So let me know your thoughts down below if you have any thoughts about this, and I'll update you next time with some more. Hey guys, it is now September 8th at 3:30 in the afternoon. I am here to update you with a couple more books for my new series, which Dia has... I got so many great naming ideas, and most of them were from Dia. And of course, predictably, the best one that I chose is one of Dia's. So I'm going to call it Best Book Forward. Thank you for that name, Dia. I love it so much. So let's do another update for Best Book Forward. Okay, so I finished, and I'm so proud of myself, Pillars of the House by Charlotte Marie Yonge. I was goaded into finishing this finally years after I started it because of Victober, of course. There are 2 other Charlotte Marie Yonge books that I'm going to be attempting to read for Victober. So I really needed to finish this one. And I really wanted to have it for a K-Tao collab, which I don't know if it's going to happen, but I wanted to be prepared because this was definitely going to be on it. So yeah, I just did an entire spoilery vlog about this that hopefully you've already seen by now. But just in case things haven't happened yet, I will give you a small update about it here. But if you really want my updates, check out that vlog. It's non-spoilery, I feel like. Yeah, there's no spoilers in that vlog. Pretty good for me. I mean, that's kind of hard for me to not spoil things because I love talking about theme, and you're not supposed to know the theme of a story until the end. That's when you figure out the theme in a good book. If you know the theme from page 1, it's probably not a great book. They're being too heavy with the theme. So anyway, this book called Pillars of the House, of course, that theme does get carried on throughout the book. So it's really about the siblings, the older siblings in a family of like 12, who are trying to raise their younger siblings because the parents can't do it for various reasons. So yeah, it's about those older siblings, and those are the pillars of the house. They're holding the house together as the pillars. And so you're following the development of this entire family, and it is so engrossing. Like, the drama is intense. Like, there's writing about death and chronic illness, and how little choices we can make can lead us down a bad path. And it's like, it's a really wonderful sort of Christian conception of what it means to walk through life with people and to love them like Jesus, which is, it takes a lot of energy. You know, there's the conversations in this book are so good because there's just older people mentoring younger people, or wiser people mentoring people who are not as wise. And you see where people's choices lead them. And it's like over the course of a lifetime, you're following these people and you're rooting for them and you're hoping that they will succeed. And some of them do. And then there's other ones that you see their decline, and it's hard to watch, so to speak. I loved this. This easily could have been 5 stars. And in fact, on reread, it might be 5 stars. For me, it was just slightly under 5 stars because frequently there were cases where I think it was something that probably the Victorians would have understood, like a reference to Victorian pop culture, if you will, or I don't know, something that's untranslatable in another language. I mean, there's like things like that, or things that Victorians wouldn't talk about. And so it's hinted at, and a Victorian would be able to figure out what she's hinting at. But us, it's like, what are you talking about? I don't know what you're saying because you didn't say it. You just hinted about it. So there's moments like that in it, which I mean, that could probably happen in any classic, but it happened quite a lot in this. Not quite a lot. I mean, it's a gigantic book. So it felt like it happened quite a lot. And so that's why I knocked it down just a star, just because there's certain things that I did not understand. And I don't think even if I reread it, I would understand those things in retrospect at all. So, but this was so well worth reading. The only reason I didn't finish it is because it is very long in the past. That's why I didn't finish it sooner. But I'm so glad that I did. It was a wonderful reading experience. I would love to reread this someday. There are no audiobooks available, so I had to like screen listen to it a lot, you know? I read most of I read a lot of it. I read a lot of it, especially in volume 1. And then as my reading deteriorated, I had the worst month of reading that I've ever had in like years. Last month, August of 2025. And yeah, it wasn't because of this book though. I just couldn't read with my eyes because of a certain medicine I was on. That was really rough because I really wanted to read it. And normally this would be like perfect reading. Although when she writes about death and like these really heavy themes, of course I get emotional. So that was harder. But you know, I loved it so much. I would highly recommend it. Highly recommend it. I loved it. But just be keeping in mind there is no audiobook, so it is a time commitment. But it goes really fast, honestly. Like to me, I mean, no, it didn't go fast. It felt like it went pretty fast though, honestly. Like when did I start it? I don't remember exactly what month I started it. But it only took me a couple months because I was so invested. So anyway, loved it. It was so good. Okay, moving on. We have another 4-star book. This is Lioness, Rampant by Tamora Pierce. This is book 4 in the Alana the Lioness series, and it definitely holds up. I rated books 1, 2, and 4 stars. And then book 3, I rated 3 stars. But this might have been my favorite out of all of them, like the higher among the 4 stars. Yeah, I really do love the first one a lot though. The second one is like a lower 4 stars. But yeah, so this is like the original girl becomes girl power fantasy, female-led fantasy. It's like the original young adult fantasy with like romantic elements. I wouldn't call it a romantasy, but like her romantic exploits definitely play a big role. And she has multiple. This is not a middle grade series, although I read it in middle grade and it turned out fine. But I would say young adult. And I'm not sure if you read it for the first time as an adult, how you would feel about it all. I mean, you probably, the totality of it, you would be like, yeah, it was worth reading. Maybe. But I think for me, I'm super nostalgic about it because I read these growing up. And it's fun getting to know the characters because a lot of these characters crop up in future books more than I remembered. You can totally read the other series, though. Like the other series that I love, you can totally read those without having read this. So this is not necessary. But if you find yourself loving the other series and you want to get to know the other and you want to get to know the development of the land, the fantasy land, even more, then this would be a good place to start. But one of Tiffany's friends, Whitney, who is also a booktuber here, said it feels like it's a book about a fantasy book. And I was like, that's exactly what it feels like sometimes, this series. It feels generic to us now because there's so many like specific spin-offs that do what this series didn't do, but this was like the original. Like there was almost nobody else doing this when she did this. And so sometimes the original is not going to be as powerful as the spin-offs because they had the original vision. So that was the case with this series, I think. Still worth reading, I think, for young adults. But if you're an adult, I would say only go into this series if you really enjoy the other two set in the same land. And there are other series. There are more than 2 series set in this land. But if you really enjoyed the Immortals Quartet or the Protector of the Small or the Trickster's Choice books, then check this out. You'll probably still enjoy it quite a lot because a lot of those characters are in their beginning phases in this series. So I'm so happy that this turned out so well. This 4th book turned out really well for us. We had a great live show on it here on the channel. So I have a playlist of all of these books. I'll try to remember to link it down below in the description of all of our live shows. And we're just having a grand old time discussing all the themes and everything. And we have had some salty discussions about some of these books because some of the romantic drama is both secular and outdated. Like she does have a feminist agenda in this book series, and it's not for middle graders. So yeah, we had some salty discussions about that, about how that didn't age super well. But yeah, overall, I definitely 4-star, high 4-star. I enjoyed rereading this like so much. They're really fast, easy reads too. It's like you can just blow through them, in my opinion. I think they're very readable and fun in that way. It's not like it's going to be pulling teeth to read it or the writing is horrible or anything like that. I think you'll probably enjoy them. I think you'd probably enjoy them. Like there are people who don't enjoy them. What's her name? Tiffany's friend. I'm so sorry. I can't remember your name. I don't know why. Whitney. There are people like Whitney who didn't enjoy book 1. Like she rated 1 star. And if that's you, you'll probably know. But then there's also people who loved book 1, and then as the romantic exploits picked up when our main character turns 17, they don't like that element at all. And so she does grow up. It's a coming of age story. Sex is included, but it's not on screen sex. But there is sex, so it's not a middle grade series, we'll say. Okay. Moving on. Attack on Titan, volume 18. This series, this holds a really special place in my heart, honestly. And I'm like halfway through it, like barely halfway through it. So I've already described these quite a lot in other videos, so I won't go super in depth. However, I'm sort of figuring out this is kind of an anti-hero series. Like we are not following one main like superhero like main character. It's really a team effort because there's a horror kind of subgenre twist to it. The flaws of the main character do come on rather strongly. Like you see everybody's flaws. That's a horror thing, is staring human weakness in the face, and a lot of times it destroys them in horror. And I feel like this is maybe a slightly more positive take than that. It's, I think action adventure is still the primary theme, but horror is like a really strong component of it as well. So basically, it's about a city that has 3 gigantic stone walls. And they have those stone walls to keep out these giant creatures called titans. They're kind of humanoid monsters who eat humans. And the titans are just incredibly creepy. Like, the art is super, super creepy. But this was my introduction. This and Tale of the Nine-Tailed, the K-drama, were my clue that I could actually enjoy horror. For the first time in my life, I actually enjoyed a little horror. Actually, I recently heard that Twilight is technically a horror romance because of the vampire element. So I guess I've always liked a bit of gothic horrorness in my reading. But this was the scariest thing that I've experienced and still enjoyed. For sure. It's quite gruesome at times, but the thematics are, the theme, it's just so philosophical. Every volume I come away and I'm like, that was brilliant. There was some brilliant thought in there. And in this volume, it was about how far the team can get together, even though they have their individual flaws. And is there anything else that I wanted to mention? Yeah, it's an anti-chosen one story. It definitely takes another look at that. And there is one character named Armin. He's like the brains of the operation. I love it when it focuses on a revelation that Armin has. That's always really fascinating. There's quite a lot of not quite. There's the series is longer than it needed to be. Like, for sure, there's been some volumes where I was like, that it doesn't really have anything to do with what's the larger story, shall we say. But this one, I actually thought it paid off on something that's in volume 1. In volume 18, it's still paying off things on volume 1. That is kind of a thing about this series. Revelations are slow in coming, but they're short books. So yeah, I'm here for it. I'm so here for it. I'm loving this. This is fantastic. It's definitely my style for sure. And yeah, this whole volume felt really tense to me because you know that there's a trap coming and you're just trying to figure out, you're trying to figure out the trap so that your favorite characters don't die. Man, really, really interesting. Really, really fun. I watched episode 1 of the anime again because I wanted to see if Kevin would enjoy it with me, because that's probably the only way I'm ever going to get through it. I just don't watch that much TV. I really can't handle it. I don't like TV that much. I mean, it's fun, but it makes me anxious. So, yeah, he didn't like it, unfortunately. So if there's somebody out there who wants to watch Attack on Titan, I know somebody else who would watch it with us. I probably need a group of 3. That's probably what I would do. If there was a group of 3 who wanted to watch Attack on Titan together, I would do it happily. And if you are somebody who has watched Attack on Titan, would you recommend I think we watched the English dubbed version for Kevin because he also doesn't like just sitting watching TV. He likes doing other things while he's watching TV. So it's helpful that they have a dubbing in his native language. But the voice actor for the English dubbed one was a bit rough in the first episode. A bit rough. I didn't really like the voice actor, especially for the main guy, Aaron. So would you guys recommend like the Japanese original with like English subtitles? I'm wondering, because I remember watching it and loving it the first several episodes. But anyways, if anyone's interested, let me know. Enjoying it so much. I might wrap this video up here. It's already pretty long, so I think I'm going to. I was going to wait and do one more video on there, but I think I ended up blathering on for a while. So let me know what you guys think of this new format and any of the books that I talked about. What was your favorite thing that you've read recently? How about this could basically be my August wrap up. I'm not telling you about all the things I DNF'd or the things I'm in progress reading or the things that I only rated 3 stars or whatever. Like I said, it wasn't a heavy reading month for me. I didn't finish very much. It was a terrible actually reading month. Even though I enjoyed a lot of what I was reading, I just didn't finish very much. So it's basically my August wrap up, but only the best parts. It's the best books forward. So tell me your best book forward from August, and maybe I'll see you again in September. We'll see. Bye-bye.